media that calls me from Argentina, they tell me that Chino has said that it's possible that after this exhibition that he might continue training to have a real boxing fight. And if he does, then he was never hurt, he was never injured, he never got knocked out in the fight, especially the last three fights. He did so good against Mayweather that he just decided to retire. 3 years from now, ain't gonna be no welterweight that could hang in there with him. And name them all. I'm not gonna name no names. Vergil, there will be not one single welterweight that could hang in there. Ryan Garcia is proving everybody that he's the real deal. I think he beats Linares. I think he stops Linares. I think Teofimo has the power to hurt Loma in any moment of the fight. And if he does hurt him, Teofimo will finish him. If Tyson Fury was just the better man and was better than him, then why even do a third fight?
Hey guys, we're here at RGBA Boxing with Robert Garcia himself. How are you feeling today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Anything going on in the gym? Any fights coming up?
Well, we had fights coming up, but they've been canceled. This coronavirus is affecting boxing, and they, we had Vergil Ortiz getting ready to fight next week, and it already got canceled. And we got quite a few dates in April, but the way it looks, they might also be canceled. So right now, the only person that is really training is Jose Ramirez for his May 9th fight. We still haven't heard anything, so we're still training. Hopefully that fight continues because we still got like 2 months, so it's more than enough time for all this virus and everything to maybe clear up. Hopefully it does, and if for whatever reason it does get canceled, well then it's nothing we could do about it.
Fighters get very upset because their fights, getting canceled. They stay in a camp, work hard, and then next thing they know, the fight is not even postponed. It's like canceled, and they never know when they're gonna fight. So how do you keep the fighters staying positive during all this, what's going on in the world today?
Well, look, it's a difficult situation because there's no way to keep them calm and positive because that's what they do for a living. So if you have a fighter, especially the ones that still don't make millions of dollars when they fight, those that are doing hundreds of thousands every time they fight, $1 million paydays, $2 million paydays, $8 million paydays, well, they don't worry about it because they have enough money to survive for months before all this clears up. But those that don't make a lot of money and the fights are being canceled, it hurts them, and it hurts the trainers, it hurts the whole team because that's what the trainers do for a living, that's what the fighters do for a living, and it's affecting not only the fighters, the whole world, the promoters also, managers, everybody. But it's part of life, it's better to be safe than sorry. So I am actually in support of all this going on with all the cancellations. I don't have any more classes here in the gym with any kids. We have some of the guys that are fighting professional, like Jose Ramirez, who comes and train. We got others that are scheduled to fight April 11th. But from what it looks like, the fight might be canceled. But they're still in the gym, they're still training because anything could happen. But it does hurt. It does hurt boxing.
Jose Ramirez fighting Viktor Postol, Ukrainian fighter. You train a lot of Russians. So you guys have any game plan for that?
Well, look, Viktor Postol is a former world champion, great fighter, dedicated person. I'm sure he's training like never before. This is another opportunity for him to become world champion. So I'm sure he's training like never before. But, Jose Ramirez, everybody knows he's very dedicated also. He trains very hard. He's focused. He wants to accomplish so many things in boxing, and in his mind, Viktor Postol is not going to stop him from accomplishing all his dreams. We can't look past Viktor Postol. Viktor Postol is dangerous, very, very awkward fighter. So we have to come up with a good game plan. We do have a game plan already. We're working on it and training hard to do it. But if everything goes well, Jose Ramirez has bigger plans.
I spoke with him, and he said he sparred Manny Pacquiao many, many times, and pretty much he knows how to fight him. Do you think that fight will ever happen?
Look, Jose Ramirez is fighting at 140, and I know that the future plans are to fight at 147, so why not? All that is possible. Manny already 41. We don't know how long more he's going to be fighting. I know he's looking into a fight in July. After that, I don't know how many more times he will be fighting. He's already 41, so his age is, he's not getting any younger. But he is looking strong. He is looking fast. I think he could still fight for a couple more years. And if that fight is available in the future, why not? I think Jose has the heart, has the experience, has the condition, the dedication to compete against any top welterweight also.
How about Mikey Garcia and Manny Pacquiao?
Well, look, maybe that's the fight that's easier to make, because Manny Pacquiao, from what I understand, doesn't have a promoter either. Mikey doesn't have a promoter, so if that fight, if they really want to make the fight, I think that fight is easy to be made. Hopefully, they could make it by July. We don't have any confirmation. We don't have anything saying that it's already a done deal. But hopefully, it does, because I think that's a big fight. It's a big fight for us, for Mikey, the team. It's also a big fight for Manny. I think right now at this point, Manny Pacquiao is looking for the big fights, big pays, and he's a world champion. So he's the one that calls the shots. So we have to wait to see what he says. We have to wait for him to make the decision. I think a rematch with Mayweather will definitely totally, be bigger than Mikey. A fight against somebody like Conor McGregor or something like that would be bigger. Maybe a Terence Crawford fight, maybe a Errol Spence fight. But I don't know if those fights would, those two, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, I don't know if Manny would want to fight those guys. I think fighting Mikey would probably be bigger, because Mikey's Mexican-American, and the Mexicans are the ones that pay for pay-per-view.
Right? So if it's not Manny, who will be next for Mikey Garcia?
Well, look, at this point, we don't know. We have to wait. I guess, when you have a fighter like Manny, who is the one that makes the decisions, the one that calls the shots, we all have to wait to see what he says. If, when Mayweather was fighting, there was times where all the welterweight division was frozen. Nobody could make any decisions until Mayweather said who he's fighting. After he announced his opponent, then everybody would move on and go get, promoters would go get fight for their fighters. Until Mayweather said who he was fighting, the whole welterweight division was frozen. Nobody would make a decision, because everybody was hoping that Mayweather will pick them. I think right now Manny's pretty much in the same way, with the welterweight division. When he says who he's going to fight, if it's Mikey or if it's anybody else, then we'll know what we're going to do. If we're going to train to fight Manny, or if we're going to have to find another fight, I would probably, if it's not Manny, I would probably prefer Mikey to fight at 140.
So there is a lot of hate on Mikey Garcia on the internet.
A lot of what?
A lot of hate in comments. People say, stay at 140, don't go to 147. Mikey himself says he's ready now. His fight with Errol, he wasn't ready yet.
It was just not, the fight with Errol was just one of those fights where it was in Mikey's night, and Errol did a perfect fight. We can't take no credit away from Errol Spence. He fought a great fight. He had an answer to everything Mikey tried. Like Mikey said, he felt heavy. He felt tired during the fight, and I remember him telling me, 6 or 7 rounds, I feel tired, and it's not because he wasn't in shape or because he didn't train hard. I think it was making that move to welterweight too soon. He started training 3 months before the fight. Went to Victor Conte for 1 month, and then 2 months of boxing. I don't think it was enough to get into the welterweight division. Now that he fought Errol Spence and a year went by, he maintained that weight, so he felt a lot better against Jesse Vargas. I think Mikey showed the world that he could compete against the welterweights. Jesse Vargas is not a small welterweight. Jesse Vargas was already fighting at 154, came down to 147 to fight Mikey. So he was a bigger man, heavier guy. Mikey told me he felt Jesse Vargas' weight. He felt that he was heavier, a lot heavier. So it wasn't easy. But I think one more fight is just gonna Mikey's just gonna be getting used to it and getting better at the welterweight division. Would I want Mikey to fight 140? I would prefer him to fight at 140. I think he's better at 140. I think he could compete very well against 140. But the fights that attract Mikey are especially the one with Manny Pacquiao, it's at welterweight. So if we are able to get the Manny Pacquiao fight, then it's gonna be at welterweight, and the other fans and people that maybe criticize Mikey, maybe have said bad things about Mikey, maybe they are right, because Mikey shouldn't be fighting at 147. But if the right fight is there, I think we should do it.
You said Mikey said he was like tired, something was wrong with him. Deontay Wilder, when he was fighting Tyson Fury, he said that he was tired because of his costume that was like 45 pounds. So have you had a chance to watch Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight?
Look, yeah, I seen the fight, and I don't want to go against Wilder, because he only knows, maybe that outfit did affect him. I don't know, but I just know that when I seen the fight, since the bell rang in the first round, I noticed that Wilder was not the same. I noticed, and right away I said to myself, and I think my wife was with me. I said, look, I think something's wrong with this guy, this man. He's not fighting the way he normally fights. His balance wasn't there. His punches weren't strong. I kind of thought and seen that it just wasn't the Wilder that we were used to seeing before. And then obviously when he got dropped in the third round, I believe it just changed everything around. He looked weak. He had no strength, no power, no balance. But it didn't just happen after he got dropped. I think it happened since the first round. When the bell rang, I noticed something, and right away I said to myself and to my wife, something's wrong with this man. It could have been. I don't want to say it could have been the outfit, because I don't think that was the reason, and I don't think Wilder wants to say it, but he could have been sick the week of the fight. Maybe in sparring he got hurt really bad, where he couldn't spar anymore, or he had a concussion. All the fighters do their medicals a month and a half, 2 months before their fight, but then they still go through 100 rounds of sparring. And sparring sometimes are very tough. A lot of fighters get hurt in sparring. A lot of fighters don't even realize, but they go home with a concussion. A lot of fighters get knocked out in sparring, but they don't do any medicals after. They don't do any medicals, so something could have happened. I cannot assure that something was wrong, because only Wilder knows. Wilder's the only one that could know this. But I did notice something was wrong with him, and if something was wrong with him, he should say it. Why not? I think the fans will probably be more excited about the third fight than they are right now, because right now nobody gives him a chance anymore. I think if he says the truth, if something really happened, then say it, and the fans would maybe support him. But if nothing happened, if Tyson Fury was just the better man and was better than him, then why even do a third fight?
So why people choose not to say if something happened? If they're sick, if something happened in sparring, why fighters do not say the truth?
Because, look, sometimes a lot of those fights are so big. Look, Fury versus Wilder was huge. The biggest in heavyweight since maybe Tyson and Holyfield era, those the 90s, those were huge fights. I don't think we had those type of fights in over 20 years. So the fight was just too big to cancel. It's not only in this big heavyweight fight, but it happens with a lot of world champions. They're defending their title, and then the week of the fight they get sick. and they already have everything's already paid for, everything's already done, the tickets. Some fighters even get advances from the promoter. If they're getting a couple million, sometimes they get 1 million advance, so they have to return it, and they don't have it anymore if they want to cancel. You know what I mean? So it's difficult to cancel. Sometimes even the coaches, even the managers say, you know what, 2-3 days before the fight, there's nothing we could do. Let's just go try to survive, because you can't. It's just hard, really hard to cancel a fight. And the fighters, especially the fighters, being brave and stubborn, sometimes they're like, no, I'm still gonna fight. I have to fight. I have to bring money to my family. So it's difficult, but it happens often. It happens a lot.
So your prediction on rematch?
Look, only if I heard something from Wilder. If I heard him say, you know what, I got knocked out in sparring the week before the fight, and I wasn't feeling good, and that's why I couldn't do good, then I would give him a chance of beating Fury. I'll still pick Fury to win, obviously, but I would give him a chance. If he knows that he was 100% ready, and he trained very hard, and everything was good in training camp, no injuries, no nothing, and he still lost the way he lost, and Fury did what he did with him that easy, then I wouldn't even want him to. I wouldn't even want to see the fight, because it's going to be ugly.
We got Big G in the house. Big G. I was just recently watching Showtime with you, Big G, back when you guys fought Mayweather with Chino Maidana.
Correct. It was a great experience.
It was great experience. Big G, come in the picture. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está?
Going in there against Mayweather twice, especially the first time, those thousands of people chanting Chino's name and cheering for Chino was just unbelievable. And obviously, in my feeling, I think we won that fight. A lot of people thought we won. Some people don't believe it, but I think we did win that first fight. It was just one of the best moments, that I've had in boxing, because Mayweather's one of the best of all times. I don't think he's the greatest of all times, but he is one of the best of all times. And just to be part of that event and do what we did, and then get ourselves a rematch was huge. Only two fighters have had a rematch with Mayweather, and that's Castillo and Chino Maidana, and both got the rematch because everybody thought they both beat him the first time. That's why Mayweather was forced or had to give us a rematch. But that was just great, having my dad being part of my team, the whole team, with Dr. Anderson, Cecilio, Alex Ariza. It was unbelievable. My guys in the gym, back in Oxnard with Bocinas and Don O'Leary, Marcos Contreras. Just great experiences, man. Great memories. Those are memories that are always going to be on TV, because those fights are always going to be remembered. And 100 years from now, when I'm not even alive, and my grandkids have their kids, and they're going to be telling, look, this is your great grandpa, and he trained Chino Maidana, one of the best fighters in Argentina, and they beat Mayweather the first time. All that shit. It's gonna be nice. That's why myself, I know Mikey feels the same way. We want to leave that behind. I don't want to just be remembered as a former champion trainer that, okay, he was okay and that's it, and nobody remembers who he was. I want to leave memories, and I want people to remember me 100 years from now. And I think with those type of fights, with the Chino Maidana fight against Broner, the Chino Maidana fights against Mayweather, we went against Pacquiao a couple times, and now Mikey doing what he's doing so good, I think we're going to be remembered.
People still ask me on my questions, in my comments, they say, ask Robert, when is Chino back?
Look, I think Chino's having a fight next month, an exhibition fight in Argentina. I think it's against like a wrestler or something. It's going to be like one of those exhibitions like Mayweather has done, like Mayweather did against Conor McGregor. Chino's having one in Argentina, and from what I read and media that calls me from Argentina, they tell me that Chino has said that it's possible that after this exhibition that he might continue training to have a real boxing fight. And if he does, then he was never hurt, he was never injured, he never got knocked out in the fight, especially the last few fights. He did so good against Mayweather that he just decided to retire. It's not because he was hurt or because he got beat up. He just wanted to retire. So I think he still has a lot left. And if he does, I wish him the best because Chino's one of the fighters that I was very close to, and we loved being part of his team.
We're looking for a reunion.
No, well, look, it would be nice. I wouldn't mind. I would love to, but I'm not. I'm not actually pushing for that. If Chino decides to give me a call, then why not? But if he wants to do his training camps back in Argentina, maybe hire his own people over there. Maybe have them help him and dedicate him. Hopefully, he just dedicates himself, trains hard, and prepares himself 100%. Because boxing is very dangerous. I just hope he does train hard and he could be champion again if he really puts his heart into it.
And my last question to you, a question from comments that was addressed to Vergil Ortiz. What about Vergil Ortiz versus Adrian Broner? That was the question.
Vergil Ortiz, he already is what boxing needs. He prospect of the year. I think this kid could easily become a world champion now if we get that opportunity. Am I looking for the title fight? No. Me, the dad, we talk about it. There's no rush. He's already getting paid very well. We could continue doing what we're doing for the next year or two. He's happy. He's happy where he's at. He's happy with what Golden Boy Promotions have been doing with him. We're all happy. He's only 21. That's another very important thing that people have to realize. He's only 21, so we don't want to rush him into those big fights, because if we rush him into one of those big fights, I think he could. I think he beats and stops Broner right now. I have no doubt, but that means then after that, he's going to have to go against somebody even bigger and bigger. So 2-3 fights from now, he's going to be fighting. He has to fight nothing but the top welterweights or super welterweights, because soon he's going to have to go to 154. There's no rush. There's no need for that. I think this kid is only 21. He's still developing. He's still learning. He's still getting better. Even though right now I think he could beat some of those top welterweights. Imagine 2-3 years from now, I think he's going to be the best welterweight in the division. I think 2-3 years from now, I think there's not going to be not one single welterweight that could hang in there with him. And I'm not bullshitting. I know that's going to happen. This kid, 3 years from now, ain't going to be no welterweight that could hang in there with him. And name them all. I'm not going to name no names. Vergil, there will be not one single welterweight that could hang in there with him 3 years from now, 2-3 years from now. Then after that, then 154. Yes, they're going to be bigger, stronger. Then we have to go and figure out what direction we got to go with the super welterweight division. But at welterweight, 2-3 years from now, I'm telling you, ain't going to be no welterweight that could compete against them. At this point, Ryan Garcia is proving everybody that he's the real deal. Maybe 2 years ago, a lot of us thought he was mostly hype and his social media, incredible what he's done with social media, and a lot of boxing people, including myself, thought, I think this kid could really get, he's beatable. If you put pressure on him, you could probably back him up and take him to the ropes, and he'll just try to use defense and maybe beat him in a decision. But from what I've seen in the last year, with his last couple of fights, that kid has become a really good fighter. Since he's been training with Eddie Reynoso, he's made him such a better fighter. He's got so much confidence in himself. The kid believes in himself right now. He goes in there nice and relaxed, and one punch is all it takes and knocks these guys out so easy. He's got power, he's got speed, and one thing is he believes in himself. That he's got confidence. That's very, very important. And from what I've heard, I talked to a lot of people that know him very well. He trains very hard. That's what I've heard, that he trains very hard. So that itself, his dedication, his speed, his power, and his confidence are top things in boxing. What a true fighter needs, and he has it. I think he beats Linares. I think he stops Linares. I don't know if we're gonna see that fight in July the way they have mentioned, but hopefully we do, because I think this kid stops Linares. Not stops him. I think he knocks him out.
And now the last question.
Another one, go for it.
Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, another great one. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled or postponed because I'm excited about them. I'm actually looking forward to that fight because I want to go to the fight. If I don't have anything else that same weekend with my fighters, I think I will go to New York to see the fight. It's a great fight, man. It's a great fight, and right now I probably pick Loma to win a decision because the experience, he just the good technique, good speed, good footwork. I pick him maybe to win a decision, but I love Teofimo. I love his dad, and I don't count him out. I think Teofimo has the power to hurt Loma in any moment of the fight, and if he does hurt him, Teofimo will finish him. So I hate to say it because I love Teofimo and Junior, his dad, but I do lean towards Loma winning by decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if Loma catches him, hurts him, and beats him. Teofimo has confidence, has power, has speed, just like I was saying about Ryan. He's young, he's hungry, he wants to prove everybody wrong because very few give him a chance. So that's another big chance that I give him because I know he believes in himself. So I won't be surprised if he does beat Loma and becomes pound for pound one of the best in the world.
All right, so thank you, Robert, for your time. I'll let you go. You have a lot of fighters out here waiting, so thanks.
Right now, I kicked them all right now because right now the virus is only the ones that are getting ready for fights are here.
All right, so thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Robert.